Hunting in Monster Hunter World is incredibly dynamic and much more complex compared to previous titles. This is all because each and every location you'll visit in the game has an interactive environment that can both reward you and or punish you. What makes a good hunter now isn't just knowing a monster's weaknesses, behavior, which tools and armor to use, and mastering your weapon. A good hunter is also aware of where they are hunting and what they can use within the environment to their advantage. There are huge plants where you can hide to avoid conflict. Some of them have poison sacks that you can cut to create a pool of poison on the floor, causing anyone that walks over it, including monsters, to get poisoned. Others explode and cause a smoke screen, making you invisible to monsters. There are toads that when hit will secrete a gas substance that can make anyone that gets in contact with it get paralyzed, go to sleep, or even explode. There are soft floors that can cause a monster when hit really hard to sink and get stuck in it, making it a great opportunity to do tons of damage. Loose boulders that can be shot with a slinger pod to fall on top of monsters to do extra damage or interrupt them. There are walls where you can run up to them to do a quick aerial attack to mount a monster. Slopes which you can slide when going downhill to reach an escaping monster quicker, and while sliding, you can do an additional aerial attack to either mount or stagger them. You can jump on vines like a man of the jungle and get to other places quicker. There's a ton of stuff in each area in the game for you to play around and experiment with when hunting that makes every hunt way more exciting and dynamic than any previous game in the series. This makes every location that you visit in the game unique and not feel like just a backdrop to hunt monsters. It makes your approach hunts entirely different to how you did before. You also have these new tools called mantles and boosters, which provide you with much needed support during really tough fights in the game. Fellow hunters can now join your quest seamlessly while you're in the middle of it by them being on the same online session as yours, or if you fire an SOS signal, which makes your quest visible for anyone in the game online. Crafting and upgrading armor and weapons is now much better than before. When upgrading weapons, you are now provided with a full upgrade tree where you can see all the different branches you can get to and gives you a much better sense of what you are doing. You can even downgrade weapons and recover materials used if you regret doing one. You even have a wish list to keep track of the weapons and armor you want to craft. Additionally, in the armor side, you now don't need to have a different set whether you're using a melee or ranged weapon. You just need one set and you can use any weapon you want with that armor set you have set up for yourself. The skill system has also been greatly streamlined, making it way less complicated than it was before. Each armor piece, for example, now provides you with a specific skill instead of points to gain a skill, and some armor sets can give you unique skills that are only available by equipping X amount of pieces from it. Charms and decorations are also back from previous games to give you even more options in customizing your loadout. There's also no lack of content at all here. You get investigations, which are randomly generated quests that you unlock as you track and hunt monsters. These investigations provide you with bonus rewards and extra challenges not encountered in the quests you can regularly take in the game, and are the preferred method for getting hard to get drops from monsters. And if that isn't enough, you also have bounties, which reward you for doing basic tasks like gathering, hunting specific monsters, or doing quests in specific locations. You also have online weekly bounties, you have daily login bonuses in which you are given a voucher that you can use to double your rewards in a quest, plus other goodies for just logging in. And of course, there are still the weekly event quests which provide you with unique rewards that you can get from them. The game is constantly rewarding you to make the grind you are doing feel more worthwhile while providing you with more content. But even with all of these improvements, there's another thing they just went all over with that made this entire experience so much better than previous games. The soundtrack. Monster Hunter World sounds different. It sounds more inspired than its previous iterations. It sounds like it cares where you are and the state of the hunt taking place there. The way people hunt in this game has changed. and the music needs to adapt to it in order to further emphasize it. There's a different track whenever you start a quest, whether it's day or night. Fighting small monsters, there's a track for that. Beating down huge monsters, yep, there's also a different track for that also. Large monsters running away from crazy genocidal hunters? Oh yeah, we definitely got a track for that. Uninvited toxic person telling you their take on something you didn't ask them to? We got a track for that too. Just remember to always throw poop at them so they run away for a limited time only. Just as hunting in this game is more dynamic than in previous titles, so is the music. Previously, whenever you were hunting a specific monster, a track played to convey that combat is taking place. If the monster ran away and left the instanced area, the music stopped and only silence was welcomed afterwards until you reached the same area the monster was in. Since the locales where you hunt are completely open now and undivided by loading screens, chasing a monster while it's running away feels entirely different. This is because it no longer feels like they move from one isolated place to another, but another position in the same place you are. Due to this, whenever you are hunting and the monster starts to run away, the music transitions to a different arrangement of the same track that conveys a feeling that a chase is taking place and that the fight isn't really over, but just changing to a different position in the map. This makes the fights in the game feel more engaging and less isolated. In addition to all of this, each and every location you'll visit to hunt has a completely different selection of tracks unique to its environment. The music you'll listen in the background when fighting small, medium, and large monsters are all unique to the locale you're in, with the exception of a few special monsters that have their own themes. I would also like to point out that this soundtrack has 4 composers, and the selection of tracks for each area is dominated by a different composer. The music tracks you'll listen in the Ancient Forest, for example, are all composed by Yuko Komiyama, while the ones you listen in the Wildspire Wastes were composed by Akihiko Narita. Having a different composer for each area makes them stand out from each other and provide a more grounded identity for the hunting environment. I just love the soundtrack. I bought it just a couple of days after I bought the game on PC. I especially really like the tracks in the Rotten Fatal, which are just really good. Just has a nice beat to it whenever you're fighting. Here, you are called a hunter of the Thieved Fleet, and are reminded of it constantly. You are the new kid, and there were 4 more fleets that arrived before you that struggled to fully discover everything in this new world had to offer. This is clearly a reference to the franchise's history. It is clear that this game is Monster Hunter 5, and that without its previous titles, it wouldn't have existed. It took 4 of them to finally bring the one that was going to take them to the top. I still can't believe I'm playing this game. I really didn't think Capcom was going to give the series the budget it deserved and properly evolve the franchise to something more streamlined yet more complex than its previous titles. But they did, and I am so happy because of it. The game feels like a completely new experience, and it's still the same Monster Hunter I know and love. It's still satisfying to make a monster fall with a well-timed hit or trick them to falling into a trap, which now feels much better with environmental traps being introduced. It looks beautiful and I can run at a steady 60 frames in my PC, making it way more comfortable for me to play in. The soundtrack is fantastic and fits the game perfectly. The added quality of life features I didn't even ask for or think of after over a decade of playing the series. It's just so good, guys. If you've never played Monster Hunter before, this is the best game for you to jump in. If you didn't like it before because it felt archaic and or hard to get into because of all its complex elements, then if you ever want to give the series another go, this is the one you should play to give it its second chance. Monster Hunter World is now Capcom's best-selling game, period. It has surpassed over 10 million copies sold worldwide versus the 4 million its previous game did. This was clearly what Monster Hunter needed. For me, this game is a dream come true. It's a huge milestone for a video game franchise that felt like it was stuck for almost 14 years on the console generation it debuted on. If you tolerated all my love for this game till this point, then let me say thank you for watching. I really appreciate it and hope you enjoyed it. This is Lucar with love to all of you lovely people out there. You'll have a wonderful and lovely rest of your day and take care. See you on the next video.